How's it going, everybody? So we have a fun review today as we're talking Final Destination Bloodlines. It feels kind of surreal that the Final Destination franchise finally is back. Those first 5 Final Destination films that released between 2000 and 2011, I consider the franchise one of the ones that made me develop my love for the horror genre, and then they just stopped making the movies entirely. For years, there were always rumblings they were going to make another entry. I was really excited what they could pull off, and who knows, if this movie goes well, we can continue to get more and more entries. Plagued by a recurring violent nightmare, a college student returns home to find the one person who can break the cycle and save her family from the horrific fate that inevitably awaits them. Considering that this is the first installment in the franchise in 14 years, I was definitely curious what crazy ideas they could concoct for a modern-day Final Destination entry. And on twofolds, Bloodlines recaptures a lot of the bold, bloody creativity that built up this franchise to be a fun experience, while also injecting some pretty exciting new concept to the franchise to keep things engaging. Of course, these movies like to stick to a particular formula to some degree. The all-around concept behind Bloodlines, revolving around family secrets, is pretty engaging. From the inciting incident, it does really hook you. I'm always down for a pretty good investigation, getting down to the bottom of things, and that's exactly what the narrative in Bloodlines is all about. Peeling back the layers of the mystery within the family through this investigation and uncovering some really interesting details while Death keeps trying to get them back for cheating him. Part of this certainly seems intentional due to the premise surrounding Bloodlines, but Death in this entry feels a lot more mean-spirited, trying to kill all of these kids and their bloodlines that escaped his wrath. I have to say, it's a glorious sight to behold. The opening disaster that sets things in motion, though, it's not my favorite amongst the franchise. I do think it is very well designed, has some pretty crazy stunt work. Before heading into the movie, I saw reports that there was actually a 71-year-old stunt performer who came out of retirement to do a scene in this, and now she holds the record for oldest ever person lit on fire on camera, at least until Tom Cruise probably breaks that a while from now. Ultimately, the main reason why people come out to these Final Destination films relates to the kills. So once Death starts to find these kids, the execution of these elaborate kills, how Death's design toys with them, while playing with us as the viewer trying to decipher on what exactly is going to kill these people amongst all these other things going on. It is the type of fun intensity that I do think is unique to the experience of a Final Destination film. The best way I could describe the majority of the kills in Bloodlines is taking how over the top some of the kills were designed in Final Destination 3 while maintaining the dark, gruesome nature from Final Destination 2. They don't show it too much in the trailers, but some of these deaths are pretty gory and violent. Admittedly, one thing that did kind of bother me though about some of these kills is they do heavily rely on CGI. In most instances, I am someone that always is going to prefer practical effects over CGI, especially in horror films. So I certainly could see some people being turned off by that, but I kinda can sorta look past it in this to some degree, just due to how entertaining some of the deaths were. Plus, in typical Final Destination fashion, they find new things for me to be afraid of going about my everyday life. Whether that be a vending machine or this insane hospital set piece with this MRI machine. If there's any death that's in Final Destination Bloodlines that I think rivals some of the best kills of the entire franchise, I definitely think it's that one. Something that impressed me overall about Bloodlines, I have to admit, was the cast. Outside of a few outliers, Final Destination as a franchise isn't well known for having great characters. Even in this, I wasn't really feeling the cast all that much at first, but they do slowly grow on you, since some of them are pretty funny and charismatic. The usage of these characters, how they expand the lore with the concept of Bloodlines, the fact they all shouldn't even exist in the first place also added some different stakes. Even if occasionally they do have some pretty cringy, corny dialogue amongst themselves, I did start to kind of feel bad for some of these characters and did want them to find some shape or form to escape death. When talking about this cast though, we do have to address the legendary Tony Todd returning as Bloodworth. While his appearances in almost all of these films aren't overly lengthy, they're always memorable because he's such a character wrapped up within so much mystery and eerie mysticism. Here in Bloodlines, I actually really love how he's incorporated into the story. Not only is his scene an emotionally poignant send-off for the character, but it finally gives us some answers on questions that we've been wondering about the character ever since he debuted back in the original film. So as far as send-offs go, I think this is a perfect farewell for Tony Todd in general, not just the character. Overall, Final Destination Bloodlines does a pretty great job bringing back this iconic franchise for modern audiences. New directors at the helm really nailed the tone for the most part, delivering on intense, gruesome, jaw-dropping kills, while managing to have a fascinating story and big laughs. There even is a handful of references, Easter eggs of the like for the Final Destination Destination franchise at large that I think fans are going to have a lot of fun discovering. Hopefully this isn't just a one-off and we do actually fully bring back Final Destination because it is such a fun horror franchise. Semi-related, I even had a fun chat with Devin Sawa at a local con not that long ago. Lots of really fun insight there. The funny part is he, like myself, is not too fond of the fact that his character in Final Destination gets killed by a brick. Who knows, we're gonna get more entries in the franchise, but I actually quite like this directing duo and their style and how they direct a Final Destination film. It's kind of crazy though, because if you looked up their IMDb's or something like that, these directors have done stuff like the Kim Possible movie, the Kim Possible live-action TV Disney movie. Never would have expected them to direct a Final Destination movie, especially a good one, so consider me surprised. Once you get a chance to see Final Destination Bloodlines, make sure you share your thoughts down below. What'd you think of the film? Did you like the film? Did you not like the film? Thank you guys. As always, chat videos, I always do appreciate it. Be sure to like on the video and also subscribe to the channel to update reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.